Almost anyone who loves tennis and follows the men's tour on television over the last few years had what might be termed Federer moments. These are times, watching the Swiss at play, when the jaw drops and eyes protrude and sounds are made that bring spouses in from other rooms to see if you're okay.
Oh! No, not the shot of the match, not the shot of the tournament, perhaps the shot of the year.
That's what David Foster Wallace wrote about Roger Federer as a religious experience in the New York Times in 2006. 15 years and 12 Grand Slams later, Federer is one of the richest athletes ever. His strategic moves in the background are often as astonishing as the Federer moments on the court. So this present piece will be about Roger Federer as a businessman.
Ever since I signed the Uniqlo deal and now I've gotten together with On, it's changed a little bit. I know I'm going to be, working also beyond my playing days, which I was anyway always going to do also with my charity. And then I have my 4 children and my wife, and I want to spend maximum time there. So I'm really excited about it.
It's understandable that he is excited about it. Roger Federer is on the way to join the very elite club of athlete billionaires. Members so far: Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods and Floyd Mayweather. 7 years on the Players' Council, Federer has been responsible for increasing prize money at Grand Slam tournaments. He holds press conferences in 4 languages. He works in an exemplary manner for his sponsors, and he is involved and invested in some fast-growing ventures that are expanding his influences beyond the court. We are going to take a closer look at how those areas are connected and identify the traits that make Federer a successful player in the world of business. At the end of each year, the Association of Tennis Professionals is announcing the prize money leaders of the season. With only one exception, Federer has been in the top 10 each season for the last 20 years. Having earned a total of almost $130 million puts him on the 2nd place of the all-time list, right behind Novak Djokovic, who is mainly in the lead because of the inflation of prize money in recent years. Playing in the top 10 of the world for 2 decades is extremely unusual in any sport, but even more so in a physically exhausting one like tennis. What's even more unusual than Federer's constant dominance on the court is that his prize money is only a small part of his total earnings. Looking at the list of highest paid athletes of 2019, Federer makes by far the most money from sponsorships among all athletes and across all sports. The relative figures are even more significant. Over 90% of Federer's earnings are from endorsements. No other athlete even comes close to that. LeBron James takes the 2nd place with a share of not even 60%. The biggest part of Federer's endorsements comes from his deal with Uniqlo that is reported to be worth $30 million annually. After 20 fruitful years with Nike, Federer caused a stir in the tennis and business worlds when he inked a 10-year contract with Uniqlo in 2018. The Japanese clothing retailer is better known for its casual lifestyle apparel than for its athletic pursuits. While many experts at the time predicted that leaving Nike would damage his image and called the move a mistake, Federer saw an opportunity. "I thought it would be a wonderful step into new endeavors, an entrepreneurial stage incorporating philanthropy, innovation and new regions of the world." This illustrates very well how Federer approaches his business decisions. He always considers the long-term consequences and plans ahead. A sticking point with Federer and Nike was the American company's insistence that he would be paid only if he was playing. That's not the case with Uniqlo, which envisions Federer transitioning from tennis player to global ambassador. The list of sponsorships doesn't end with Nike and Uniqlo though. It reads like a who is who of global luxury brands. For example, thanks to his role as a brand ambassador for Mercedes-Benz, Federer has a large car collection. He partnered with a German automaker in 2008 and renewed the deal in 2018. The multi-year partnership is estimated to earn him $5 million a year. Federer is also one of the best-known ambassadors for Rolex. You won't see him lifting a trophy without one of the luxury watches on his wrist, each of them hand-picked to match the tournament. This is what distinguishes Federer from other professional athletes. he is very well aware of his commitments and knows how to endorse his sponsors at all times. Although we never won Wimbledon ourselves, with all the dopamine and thoughts running through your head, it's probably easy to forget to put on a watch. But that's what Federer does reliably almost every time to make sure the company gets the visibility it is paying for. Another secret of Federer to creating value for brands is having more than one persona to market. Of course, there is the image of the successful and hard-working athlete that sells sporting goods. Then there is the persona of thoughtful and besuited gentleman who sells watches and cars, the international and culture-loving persona to sell pasta, the local hero persona to sell anything Swiss. You get the idea. This is not by accident, but a strategic move from Federer. Next to his professionalism and credibility, Federer has this intrinsic drive to develop ideas and projects. That energy goes beyond his collaborations with global brands. He utilizes it more and more to push ahead his own ventures. In 2012, Federer told his longtime agent Tony Godsick, "You sell me well, but I sell myself better, so let's start a joint company." And that's what they did with the players' agency Team 8. At the end of his sporting career, Federer is more than just a tennis player of the agency and increasingly acts as company representative. His political moves are now as feared as those he prepares with a beautiful one-handed backhand. In recent years, Federer has used his charisma to try to attract up-and-coming players to Team 8. Juan Martín del Potro and Grigor Dimitrov were temporarily under contract. With the only 15-year-old American Corey Goff, Team 8 has an exceptional talent in its ranks. Alexander Zverev signed with the agency as well. With Zverev's commitment, Team 8 has gained further influence. But the most important driving force is not a player. It is the Laver Cup, a competition created 3 years ago by Federer and Godsick with the help of the Australian and American tennis federations. The matches between a world and a European selection that Federer has always led present the often very traditional tennis sport in a modern look. Almost all the top stars compete as team players with the necessary seriousness at the actual show event. This is partly due to the lucrative entry and victory bonuses, but also thanks to Federer's high standing among his colleagues. The first 3 editions of the Laver Cup were a huge media success. Outside of the tennis world, one of Federer's most notable investment opportunities opened up to him after he left Nike. Among the many brand partnerships for watches, luggage and other luxuries, there was an opening in footwear. Federer had originally met the On founders over dinner in 2017, several years after he had first noticed how many people in Switzerland were wearing their shoes. He has now become an investor in, as well as a contributing product designer and representative for the brand, which was started in 2010 in Zurich. After growing by word of mouth among endurance athletes and in running specialty stores, On is gaining ground as an underdog rival to giants like Nike and Adidas in the performance sports shoe category. The cooperation with Federer seems like a natural fit and could turn out as another smart career move of the Swiss. Considering the impact and level that Federer has reached with his undertakings, it surprises that Federer himself describes his business approach as conservative.
Of course, you got to take chances on the tennis court or in life at times, but at the end of the day, I like to be conservative. I guess it's also a Swiss mentality to some extent. I believe I dream big, but yet we play it safe to some extent, and I think that's what it is. I've never done crazy, silly investments, even though this is a big investment add-on, and this is the biggest one yet in my time. But I'm very confident about it, and I really think it's going to be a great future for both of us. But you want to be careful and surround yourself with the right people, of course.
Surrounding yourself with the right people is one of the traits that Federer masters best. The obvious example is his wife Milka, who has been praised many times to have a huge influence on Federer's success and for being a key driver in his career. Great teamwork and leadership skills, credibility and a strategic mindset made Federer already stand out as a professional athlete. Now he applies the same traits off the court to shape his financial decisions and proves that they are just as valuable in the world of business. Despite all the projects and politics that he is involved in, Federer has also some fun retirement plans. In 2018 he told a Swiss newspaper that he has bought an old bus from the 60s, which he plans to drive around Europe once he has some spare time. And whenever he doesn't feel like traveling, he probably won't have the worst time staying at home in his mansion on Lake Zurich. With all the adventures and ventures that he has kicked off in the last years of his career, he will most likely not get bored, but keep pushing the boundaries, whether on court or in boardrooms.